Her eyes immediately latched onto the wet patch that had been formed during the math lesson. "Ew, she's wet her knickers," she squealed, immediately beckoning the others to stand, one next to her and one in the cubicle to my left. The three of them peered over and pointed towards my panties, which I tried to hide beneath my pleated navy blue skirt. Even worse, with them staring at me, I couldn't even go to the toilet. "What do you want?" I whimpered, glancing back up at them for mercy. "Nothing, we're just standing here," they said, giggling to each other, knowing full well that it was impossible for me to go with them there. I decided not to bother and stood up, pulling my knickers back up and opening the door to leave. They jumped down immediately and stopped me in my tracks. "Where are you going?" laughed Sophie, holding her hand out in front of me to stop me from walking any further. "English, obviously," I stated bluntly, quickly growing tired of their constant harassment. However, with her finger digging into my chest, just above my breasts, I couldn't help but notice the strange resurgence of excitement in my panties. Just then, the bell for the afternoon's lesson rang out all around the college, but I could tell from their stance that they weren't to let me go. "The lesson's been canceled," she replied, signaling to Jane to lock the doors. Jane quickly moved over to the exit and placed the out of order sign on the door, locking it from the inside to seal the four of us in. "Why are you doing this?" I pleaded, sensing something awful was about to happen to me. Part of me knew that they couldn't hurt me too badly, as they would have hell to pay from the teachers. As it turned out, by the time I left the toilets, I wouldn't want to speak a word of what had happened to me, but for a very good reason. "You know, playing with yourself in college is totally gross," she said, glaring at the front of my skirt as if she could see the damp patch between my legs through the dark pleated material. "I wasn't, I swear," I begged, but they didn't believe me. The truth was that had they not interrupted me so soon, I might actually have had a quick play with my clit to relieve the tension. "Sure you weren't," she replied, nodding to Sam, who was standing behind me, having emerged from the other cubicle. She grabbed my wrists and pulled my arms back, and no matter how much I resisted, she held them firm and steady. Sophie reached down and lifted the front of my skirt up so she could slip her hand between my thighs.